Hello, in this video I'm going to recap the events of Mass Effect 2. Now this is part of a series looking into the whole Mass Effect trilogy, so if you don't know what happened in the first game then you can watch my recap of Mass Effect 1 by clicking up here. The story is a continuation of the events of that game, so some elements of this story may not make sense unless you watch that. The footage you are seeing is captured on a PS5 play of the more recently released Legendary Edition of Mass Effect, so it has somewhat had a visual uplift from the original game, but it is the same story. Naturally, and I'm gonna say it because some people really are that dense, spoilers are ahead for Mass Effect 2. If you find yourself enjoying this video or chuckling at my poor attempt of humour, then please do hit subscribe. Picking up a short time after the events of the first game, we see a curvaceous woman named Miranda in conversation with a man known as the Elusive Man. The conversation cryptically mentions Commander Shepard and an organisation called Cerberus. More on them shortly. Meanwhile, back on good ship Normandy, Shepard and his or her crew is critically attacked by an unknown vessel, forcing the crew to abandon ship. Joker, the crew's pilot, gets caught behind, forcing Commander Shepard to do what she does and save the day. We get Joker to an escape shuttle, but before we have time to get in ourselves, the ship begins to explode, forcing us to seal the pod and sacrificing ourselves. And I think, what a nice quiet start to the game. And I also think, wait, Shepard can't die because they're in the third game. However, Shepard does indeed die in the explosion, more likely from asphyxiation from orbiting space. But praise be, she is reborn, just like Jon Snow, Harry Potter, Jesus, and of course, more famously, Gandalf. Shepard awakes in a surgery bed to the pleasant sight of Miranda. Naturally, my lesbian female Shepard thinks, nice. But alas, she soon passes out. Sometime later, we wake up again, but this time there's no Australian beauties overlooking us. Miranda is Australian, by the way. However, the mysterious Aussie is talking to us on the intercom. The station is under attack, and Miranda tells us we need to fight our way to her. And I'm like, all right, mate, slow down. I was literally just dead. But Shepard the Grey is no more. This is Shepard the White, and we fight our way through some enemies and meet Jacob the soldier. Jacob explains a bit about what the fuck is going on. Shepard was brought back to life by Cerberus, who were a shady organisation which, although not featuring in the main story, appeared in several side quests in the first game. Jacob explains that Shepard has been dead for 2 years, and the project to revive her, named Project Lazarus, is the brainchild of Miranda, not just a good body. And Shepard thinks, yep, this all sounds perfectly normal, let's crack on. We eventually fight our way to Miranda, who says "G'day, mate" to this dude, who was apparently a traitor. But he's not important to the story, so fuck him. We then meet up with the Elusive Man, who is the leader of Cerberus. He explains that entire human colonies have been disappearing, and he believes it is due to our old friends, the Reapers. And he has brought Shepard back to life as she is the only person who has experience in fighting them. And I think, well, apart from those thousands of people that fought Sovereign at the end of the last game, but you know what he means. Although we assume that saving humanity probably isn't their only agenda, we begin to work with Cerberus, whom of which we owe our lives. On our investigations into the colony disappearances, we run into our old crewmate, Tali. With her help, we find evidence of what has been happening and discover the involvement of a rare alien species known as the Collectors, who seem to be in league with the Reapers. After updating the Elusive Man, he sends us out to recruit specific people to our crew while he attempts to find out more about the Collector's whereabouts. He also introduces us to our new pilot, although he's not quite new.
Hey, Commander. Just like old times, huh?
It's Joker, and I think, you little shit, basically, you're the reason that I died. But no bother, we let bygones be bygones. Cerberus also buy us a brand new ship, modelled entirely on the old Normandy. However, unlike the Normandy SR-1, our new ride has a built-in AI known as Edie, who co-pilots the ship alongside Joker, much to his frustration. As we begin to track down the Elusive Man's list of desirable crew members, we notice that one is actually Garrus, our crew member from the first game, although he's originally sporting the codename Archangel. As well as Garrus, amongst others, we recruit Mordin Solus, a talented Solarian scientist with extensive knowledge of the Collectors, a powerful and crazy biotic called Jack, who is arguably the best companion in the entire trilogy, and a tank-bred Krogan called Grunt. The elusive man then informs us that another human colony has just gone silent. Thinking it will lead to us finding out more about the Collectors, Shepard and co head off to the planet of Horizon. Before disembarking, Mordin reveals that he has discovered a preventative to the Collectors' swarm attacks, which is how they've been immobilizing and abducting humans. In a cutscene, we see our old friend Kaidan Alenko on Horizon, or Ashley Williams if you chose to save her in Mass Effect 1. In the scene, we witness the swarm attacks firsthand as the Collectors invade Horizon. Shepard and the team manage to fight off the Collectors, forcing them to flee and saving most of the Horizon settlers. After the battle, we reunite with Kaidan Alenko, and it's not quite the welcome I was expecting as the little wanker starts kicking off that we're now working for Cerberus, whom alongside us in the first game, he fought several times. After waffling on something about loyalty, I'll be honest, I kind of switched off a little bit. Kaidan bids us farewell, and I'm like, well, fuck that guy. I got this crazy biotic chick and this weird scientist. The elusive man reveals that he has discovered the Collector's homeworld is through the Omega 4 relay, a relay that no ship has ever returned from. Sounds fun. He suggests we continue to improve our crew and find out a bit more about the Collectors before attempting the journey. However, you can optionally go through the relay now, but you do skip a large part of the game and miss out on a lot of companions by doing so. The elusive man also sends us on the trail of a disabled and abandoned Collector ship in the hope that we can recover some intel. The trip proves to be fruitful as Shepard, with the help of Edie, the ship's AI, discovers that the Collectors are actually Protheans. Remember that extinct race from the previous game? Turns out they're not extinct, they were just experimented on by Reapers and turned into Collectors to serve them. When attempting to extract some data, we lose communication with the Normandy and are ambushed by Collectors, suggesting the disabled ship was a trap. After fighting off the first wave, we re-establish our connection with our ship, and Edie manages to extract some data which she believes will help us navigate through the Omega 4 relay. She also discovers an encrypted distress call that was created by the Collectors, confirming that this was indeed a trap. However, furthermore, we learn that the elusive man was aware that it was a trap and sent us anyway. And I think what a surprise, he always seemed so trustworthy and not shady in the slightest. The Collector ship then powers up and we think, fuck this, let's get out of here and flee on the Normandy. Back on board, we confront the elusive man who explains that the risk was necessary for the intel and he knew that Shepard would survive the trap. Regardless, we both agree now is not the time for this discussion with the Collectors still at large. With the intel gathered, we learn that we need an IFF from a Reaper. Fortunately, Cerberus has another team currently working on an old and derelict Reaper. Before heading there, we continue to recruit crew members, including Thane Krios, a famed assassin, and we reunite with Liara Tassoni from Game 1. It is worth noting she was my love interest in the first game. This isn't how I greet everyone. While on the trail of the IFF, we are aided by a Geth sniper. You may remember the Geth were the secondary enemy in the first game. In a shock twist, this particular Geth can talk.
Shepard, Commander.
The Geth, named Legion, represents a collection of Geth networks that operate independently from the Geth that we encountered in the first game. Despite being injured, it can be reactivated and then joins our crew. We also acquire the sought-after IFF, and it is installed onto the Normandy. Sometime later, Shepard and basically all of the non-expendable characters head out on a convenient mission in the shuttle. During this time, the Collectors use the installed IFF to infiltrate the Normandy system and take over the ship. Oh shit indeed, Joker. The entire crew is captured or killed by the invading Collectors, except for Joker, who survives and with the help of Edie manages to escape on the Normandy. We reunite with Joker and Edie and plan our final trip through the Omega 4 relay. When heading through the relay, we find it is a graveyard of previous ships that have attempted the journey. Joker navigates the field before crashing onto a Collector ship. On board, we find our captured crew members who are in collector stasis pods and surprisingly still alive before most of them are killed in front of our very eyes and turned into some kind of human fruit smoothie. We managed to save some of the crew, but most of them do die. If you opted to head through the relay at first opportunity, then you do save more crew members, but admittedly acquire less companions and have a weaker team overall. The ship doctor, Dr. Chakras, explains the rest of the crew were killed and their genetic material was pumped through these tubes into what one can assume is one huge giant smoothie glass. With Edie's help, we learn that the tubes are feeding a large structure, which she claims is a Reaper being built by the Collectors. But it's far, far worse. The Collectors are building a human Reaper, combining technology and human genetics, and that is why the Collectors have been abducting human colonies. We're forced to fight the giant Reaper baby, and in keeping with the Mass Effect theme, we're the main character, and we win. Shepard plans to destroy the facility, but the elusive man claims we can use this technology to help us defeat the Reapers. We can either agree and salvage the science using a radiation strike to destroy the Collectors, or just blow up the facility. This decision doesn't impact this story, but it does impact Mass Effect 3 slightly. I chose to keep the science.
A threat this big, rules go out the window.
With the mission accomplished, we flee the attacking Collectors and make it back to our ship. Some of your crew members can die during this mission if your relationship isn't high enough with them. All of mine survived. We see the Collector leader being scolded by a Reaper for failing before a targeted radiation strike wipes out the entire Collector threat, and the Normandy becomes the first ship to make it back from the Omega-4 relay. The elusive man and Shepard say a frosty goodbye, with Shepard vowing to end the Reaper threat once and for all, with or without Cerberus' help moving forward. Meanwhile, the elusive man looks over the technology recovered from the Collector base with a sinister smile upon his face and sips his whiskey like a budget Bond villain. The game ends with a cutscene showing the Reapers waking up from their slumber in dark space and preparing to descend upon the galaxy. And that is what happens in Mass Effect 2. I'll be recapping the third and final game of this trilogy soon. When it's done, you'll find it on this page, and don't forget, if you need reminding of the events of the first game, you can also find that here too. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, please do hit subscribe.